I did want you to understand that basically, however, FDA doesn't approve compounded drugs to verify, one, their safety, the effectiveness, or the quality of it before it's marketed. So if it's found out that a compounding pharmacy is not following state laws, that's when FDA will step in. And I think sometimes we need to make sure that we're looking up those compounding pharmacies to make sure that they are not under any type of legal actions or anything that's being put against them in a recent inspection saying that they did not meet the criteria. I'm not doing this to scare you, but I'm making sure that you do this to understand that sometimes people can sell you that something is FDA approved, and that's not 100% the case. Hello. This is Lifestyle for Living. I wanted to jump on really quick and give a quick update of me starting back on my Wegovy 0.25. If you've been following me, you know I actually did not take Wegovy for about 3 weeks after getting sick, after doing my third 0.5 milligram shot. I actually went to the emergency room, was ill for about 6 days, had decided that I was not trusting my confidence in what the doctors had told me, meaning they said they thought it was some type of foodborne colitis. And I will tell you, I had a couple of other people who commented on that video and said that they had had a similar experience. I know some people were saying, oh, you should have made it very clear in the beginning that it was not Wegovy related, but I will tell you, the jury was still out for me. When I posted that video, I still was in kind of like was this Wegovy related or was it actually the food I was eating? Because honestly, I didn't eat anything differently that I'd eaten in the prior 2 weeks, and I wasn't sure if it was something that was based on me being on the 0.5 that made me ill. And seeing that some other people had some similar experiences, I'm not 100% saying that it wasn't what the physician said, which they said it was something that I ate, which it very much could have been, because honestly, I've been taking the 0.25 for 3 weeks now, and I haven't had any other side effects. In fact, I haven't had no effects, meaning my actual suppression of appetite, zero, meaning I could eat whatever I wanted to eat. I could eat till I got tired. There was only one thing telling me not to eat anymore, and that was my mindset saying, look, you know, if you overeat, what that scale is going to tell you. So that was the only thing that helped me while I've been on that 0.25, and now I'm considering going back up to the 0.5. But I really want to talk about something else that I've been seeing. Let me give a quick update of did I gain or lose anything on these past 3 weeks of being on that 0.25. To tell you the truth, I maintained. I didn't gain or lose any weight. I maintained my weight. And honestly, considering what I ate during the week of the 4th of July with my family, I'm happy. And considering that I have been on the road for the past 3 weeks, meaning for work, and I will tell you, one of the things I've learned about me is I am a stress eater, meaning I love great tasting food. And while I've been traveling and I enjoyed the time with my family and I've been traveling for work, it's been really, really stressful with a lot of things that I got going on behind the scenes at work. And I have resorted to, oh my gosh, I need something good to eat. I just need something good to eat. And that is one of the things that really made me start looking at my saying that I have implemented these lifestyle changes and I can maintain it. Because I love to say that Semaglutide medications, GLP medications, Tirzepatide medications are a tool and it's not the cure. The reality is it's just that. And one of the things I know we all say, okay, we love this tool, we're happy for this tool, it's helping us achieve some things that we haven't been able to do without it. But it really made me think about going back when I went being on this 0.25 is, okay, what's your game plan? Because if some of these insurance companies have their way, we're no longer going to be meeting the criteria to even take the drug. And let's talk about the distinguishable difference between an FDA approved drug or medication versus FDA regulated. I've been seeing some people on their accounts indicate that they're taking a compound that's FDA approved. That's not necessarily the case. While the compounding pharmacy may be FDA regulated through their state, meaning their state pharmacy boards, and federal via FDA, it does not necessarily mean that the compound that you're taking is FDA approved. Generally, usually speaking, FDA does not approve a compound. The distinguishable difference between those of us who are currently getting our insurance company to pay for our FDA approved medications, i.e. Zepbound, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Ozempic, those are FDA approved, meaning they went through the rigorous procedure to make sure that this drug was approved. Compound pharmacies are available and they have a great benefit for a lot of reasons. But if someone's telling you that this compound, i.e. GLP-1 medication, Semaglutide, Tirzepatide, is FDA approved, that's not 100% the case. There's a distinguishable difference between saying something is regulated versus approved. And I know people can say I'm splitting hairs on this, but I think I need to make it clear. Those of us who are taking the FDA approved versions of the semaglutides, the GLP-1 medication, Tirzepatide medication, in the version of approved names of Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, we actually are taking a drug that has gone through the rigorous procedure to ensure that it's FDA approved. And then those who are being told that they actually are taking a compound that's FDA approved, I'm afraid people are splitting hairs on that, because compound pharmacies are regulated, and they're regulated through their state board of pharmacy, through federal entities. It does not mean that the safety, the assurance, the efficacy of that compound has been FDA approved. It's just saying that this pharmacy has or is required to follow the regulations that FDA has put in place for a pharmacy. There has been cases where FDA has gone in and done inspections on compound pharmacies to assure that what they're actually saying that they're doing, they're doing. Now, compound pharmacies have benefits because they can actually customize drugs for those patients who may need a type of drug but may need something to be added or taken out because they could have some type of reaction to what the actual FDA approved drug may have in it. And then you need to also understand that a lot of reasons why we're currently getting, or there is the availability of the compound, is because there are special rules that when there is an FDA approved drug that's in shortage, it can be compounded. That's why we're seeing a lot of these compounding pharmacies making availability of compounded drugs. But I don't want anyone going around thinking that just because they're taking the compound, and again, I'm not against compounds, I just want you to be educated on knowing the difference. That yes, you do need to follow up to check your state board pharmacy to make sure that that particular compound pharmacy is being regulated by your state board. And I will, when I get an opportunity, take you through how the websites of where you can go to find out if your pharmacy, that compound pharmacy, is under any type of investigation or if anything is transpiring. Because there have been instances where they found that there could be some safety issues. And I'm not saying there's safety issues even with an FDA approved drug. I mean, this is why they tell us all the different things that potentially can go wrong when you take these drugs, because they've gone through that process. Compound pharmacies are not going through that. And I need people to understand that distinguishable difference, that when somebody tells you that this is a FDA approved medication from a compound, not the case. Now, while some of the ingredients that are being put in may be FDA approved, that's not saying that they're 100% doing everything. That's not saying that they're not diluting it or cutting it. That's not saying that they're not adding anything additional into it. We really don't know. So I did take some notes on this, so it's going to look like I'm reading, but I just want to make sure I give you the right information. Basically, it's saying that compounding pharmacies are regulated by both state boards of pharmacy and federal authorities, including FDA. It says the FDA oversees compounding pharmacies in the following ways. One, they work with the state regulators to ensure patient safety. So in this case, what they're saying is this compounding pharmacy is in a state. And through the state regulators, that's one of the ways that FDA can regulate that particular pharmacy. It's not at all saying that what that compounding pharmacy is producing is FDA approved. Those are the distinguishable differences I want to make here. Then it says that the FDA can take action against pharmacies that don't follow the state laws. Meaning, okay, let's talk about this. The state has the federal regulatory oversight of these compounding pharmacies. And we all know that unless somebody is out there 24/7 doing their due diligence, there could be some that slip through the cracks. So if it's found out that a compounding pharmacy is not following state laws, that's when FDA will step in. And I think sometimes we need to make sure that we're looking up those compounding pharmacies to make sure that they are not under any type of legal actions or anything that's being put against them in a recent inspection saying that they did not meet the criteria. I'm not doing this to scare you, but I'm making sure that you do this to understand that sometimes people can sell you that something is FDA approved, and that's not 100% the case. It also says that they can conduct risk-based inspections. Now, there are a couple of instances where you may have a compounding pharmacy has had some type of complaint, or someone said that, hey, I took a compound and this is the reaction I had. I had an allergic reaction. Those are the kind of things that need to be taken into consideration. And if I haven't said it already, let me say it again. I am not against compound pharmacies. I think they actually bring a benefit to the table. One being for those persons who may be needing to take a drug and they need it specifically formulated for them. Meaning there could be an FDA approved drug that a person could potentially have an allergic reaction to one of the ingredients. However, all the other ingredients are beneficial, and that's where compounding comes in place, and it makes it beneficial to use. And then I want to talk about if we have situations in like this where there is a shortage of an FDA approved drug, that's where compounding can come in as a benefit for the shortage. And in most instances, once the shortage ends, those compounds are no longer available. So that's something we need to think about. I know some people are saying, okay, well, we don't have to worry about that because we have such an issue with shortages right now between the Zepbounds and Wegovys that these compounding facilities are going to be in place forever. That's not necessarily 100% the case. And in the instance of these situations, if Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk ever caught up and they were able to produce enough of the FDA approved drug, guess what? The compounding would no longer be available. But right now, everybody's saying the future of that is going to go probably into 2026. So that's something that we don't have to worry about right now. But I did want you to understand that basically, however, FDA doesn't approve compounded drugs to verify, one, their safety, the effectiveness, or the quality of it before it's marketed. So this compounding facility does not necessarily go through any rigorous approval prior to its being put out on the market. And you're really depending on your state board of pharmacies to ensure that what you're getting out is good. It says compounded drugs can be imported for the medical needs, but they don't have to have the same type of safety assurance as approved drugs. That was something that stuck out to me. So while there are risks with any drug that we take, even the FDA approved drugs, so while there are some great benefits for compounding drugs, we really need to understand that there could be some little disconnect between the entity of saying that something is FDA regulated versus approved. I would tell you a red flag for me would be anytime I'm going through any type of telehealth agency and they're telling me that, oh, we have an FDA approved compound, that's a red flag for me. So I just want to kind of give you some updates on what happened with me during my restart of the Wegovy 0.25 milligrams and how I had no effects either way, good or bad. And I wanted to talk a little bit about making sure people understand that you should be aware that right now there is no FDA approved compound for a semaglutide or Tirzepatide GLP-1 medication. They can be regulated, but that doesn't mean that they're being approved. So I just want to thank you again for watching me and watching my journey as I go on this journey. Hopefully I give you some tidbits of information as I go along. Sometimes I'm going to research this out, and because I want to make sure I give you the right thing, it's going to be like I'm actually reading it. But that's a reason why, because I want to make sure I give it to you right. I don't want to give you my opinion. I want to give you the studied, researched opinion. And then I want to say thanks again to those of you who are following me. If you haven't done so already, go ahead, like. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe. And I'll continue to give you my journey of me being on this weight loss journey of trying to lower my A1Cs and increase my insulin sensitivity. That's a lot of things that people don't understand, is that I'm actually taking this drug to actually help me with some of my health issues that I've had along the way. So I'll continue to give you my journey. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.